At alam naman natin to. All I'm giving is a plausible theory as to why that video isn't coming out. Now, also the other reason why so many people believe that there is a video and that it exists is because the administration refuses to acknowledge it. Na at some point, pag widespread na yung belief na yan, your failure to acknowledge it has a destabilizing effect. Walang video. Hindi talaga, I insist, walang video. Sure, believe whatever you want. Di naman kami nagko-complain. Kahit naman kami sinasabi namin, we don't know if it exists. We don't know if it doesn't exist either. Di ba? So, parang ano yan Schrodinger's cat. At the moment, it both exists and does not exist until it shows up. Kasi may timing ang lahat. So, may timing ang lahat ng ito. Bakit ko sinasabing may timing? Bakit sinasabi na hindi pwedeng ilabas yan ngayon? Okay. Ang tingin ko dyan is, the reason naghihinala ang administrasyon dito kay VP Inday at kay former President Duterte, hinala take note, is because of the GMA formula. We're talking about, of course, that video, yung pinag-uusapan ng matagal na ni Madam Maharlika, at today nag-comment po si FPRD. And he was asked about the video. So I hope maririnig po ninyo ito. I have, nasa TikTok din, I took a portion, I excerpted a portion of the video and nasa TikTok natin. But let's play this one. Hopefully maririnig. Okay. There he goes. He says, wala yan. Yung video.
I can say that hindi lang leader dito, maraming mayor dito nagpupuking.
Okay. So he says, wala yan. Well, I can say dito maraming mayor, dito maraming leader nagtitake ng you know what. Tapos, he says further,
there's no such thing. Kasi kung
there's
nandyan pa
no
yan,
such thing.
talagang lumabas yan.
Sabi niya, there's no such thing. Kasi kung andyan pa yan, matagal nang lumabas yan. Okay. And that's it.
Wala yan.
Wala yan. Inulit pa niya.
Yan. Mayor, ayun.
Okay, so, ngayon, maraming nagtatanong ngayon kung anong ibig sabihin nun or what is our take on that. Alright, so this is what he says. So he says first, wala yan. Okay? Kasi merong video na pinag-uusapan and he says, wala yan. And then he says something I can say. And he talks about maraming leader dito, may mga mayor na nagtitake ng illegal na substances or one particular one, no? Tapos he goes on to say, wala yan kasi kung totoo yan, matagal nang lumabas yan. So what can we pick up from this? Well, first, nalihis siya and it seems that alam niya yung punteriya ng video but he says, what he says is there's several leaders at may mga mayor daw na nagtitake ng ganon. Implying that this is entirely possible, that the event allegedly contained in the video, whatever it is true because there are others who do that. Okay. And then he says, wala yan, kasi kung totoo yan, matagal nang lumabas yan. What is he establishing? Hindi sa inaano niya, no? Hindi sa binabaliwala niya. Kasi he doesn't say whether or not he believes in it. So, except nang sinasabi niya is merong ganon there's certain leaders who actually do something like that. Pero ang sinabi niya is kung totoo yan, lumabas na yan. Ang tingin ko, this is my opinion ang tingin ko dyan is he's establishing a fact, several facts. Number one, that he's not involved in it, in the video. And two, he does not know for sure that it exists. Okay, so what is he establishing na wala siyang kinalaman dito? He's not saying it directly, but he's saying wala siyang kinalaman dito. The reason ito yung interpretation ko is kasi a week ago, may nag-message sa akin from the military, from that group that supposedly or allegedly saw this alleged video. Hindi niya sinasabing siya, no, but he's saying that merong kasing umikot na balita na maraming may hawak ng alleged copies ng alleged video na yan, and that they had seen it. And ang sabi is, a group of PMAers daw ay meron na nun. So may umikot na balita na mayroong mga may hawak na kopya na ganon. And according to the rumor mill, isa doon si dating Pangulo. So in saying this, what he's saying is, wala siyang kinalaman dyan, hindi niya alam yan, and he doesn't believe it exists. Kasi yung existence niyan is simply a matter of belief right now. And sa kanya, hindi siya naniniwala. Of course, lahat yan mapabubulaanan pag lumabas, kung mayroon man, ang video na yan. So, mahalaga yan, lalo na sa panahon ngayon. Kasi may mga ino-oppress, di ba? May mga pinatatahimik, may mga tinitreten, nakakasuhan. Kasi kahit ako mismo, may nag-message na sa amin na, hala, makukulong ka or something like that. You're in trouble. Pagka yan may nangyari, you're going to be in trouble. Ginaganon ako. So, mayroong calls na nagaganon at meron din minsan nasa message. Okay. So, and therefore, ang tingin ko is, yun yung, that's one way of dealing with that issue. May mga iba, ang interpretation nila ay china-challenge nilang ilabas yung mga kopya na yan. But I don't think so. Kasi may timing ang lahat. So, may timing ang lahat ng ito. Bakit ko sinasabing may timing? Bakit sinasabi na hindi pwedeng ilabas yan ngayon? Okay. Ang tingin ko dyan is, the reason naghihinala ang administrasyon dito kay VP Inday at kay former President Duterte, hinala, take note, is because of the GMA formula. Okay? Nung si GMA ay Vice President, there are two versions of this, no? Nagkaroon ng coup, supposedly, well, quote-unquote, or a rebellion, and they were able to take over. Ang ruling ng Supreme Court doon is, on whether or not maaaring tumakbo pa si GMA, ang sabi ng Korte Suprema, dahil umabot ng 2 years, yes, entitled si GMA to another term of 6 years. Nung umabot ng 3 years, 2 or 3 years, 2 years, I think, ay umabot, 2.5, ay because of that, maaari pa siyang tumakbo ng isang term. So, ito kasi yung reason kung bakit very insecure at very worried ang administrasyon dun sa mga Duterte. We know that VP Inday had no plans of anything. We know that President Duterte has repeatedly said he is retired, he's no longer seeking office. Although once in a while, sinasabi niya, takbo kaya ako. If in-impeach si Inday, I will have no choice but to return to politics. So, yun yung konteksto. Kaya worried yung administrasyon, baka sila ma-erap. 'Di ba? At kung ma-erap sila, hindi yan gagawin ng maaga pa lang within the first year. Kasi dahil yung Supreme Court ruling, parang 2 years or more pa kailangan para ma-entitle yung VP to run for another term. And therefore, it is important for former President Duterte to indicate and send a strong signal na wala siyang interest, na he's not interested in any kind of takeover na wala siyang interest dun sa sa pagpapalit ng leadership, and that he himself is retired. He did not even talk to any of the military, di ba? Wala siyang kausap na PNP kasi sabi niya, sinong siraulong military o pulis ang maniniwala sa akin? Bakit pupunta sila sa akin? So, so he also denied that in the same interview. Ngayon, like I said, nobody yet really knows except for the people who actually hold it, if that video exists. Okay? Ngayon, this is what I think worries people. Is indicative of something. Kasi tignan ninyo, bakit worried ang administrasyon? Bakit sila worried to the point that they don't address the issue? Dinededma nila. And at the point where a lot of people, it's starting to snowball, kailangan i-address nila yung issue na ito because it might have a destabilizing effect. Diba? Now, the rule always is for any government to protect itself. The state protects itself. Okay? So yung mga nagsasabing, bakit hindi nilalabas yung video? Because if there is an intent, I'm not saying there's any. What I'm saying is, if there is an intent or they want to make sure that there is a way out. Kasi pag lumabas yung video na yan, there will be hell to pay, so to speak. We know that this administration, particularly acting through the Congress, can have a tendency to be oppressive. So, kung lumabas ang video na yan, kailangan may counter threat. And the counter threat is that should there be an uprising, a legal one or whatever, then there is a possibility of a 9-year presidency for the one who takes over. Okay? So naintindihan nyo kung bakit timing yan. That's why no matter what you say, no matter what the pressure, yung sabi, ilabas nyo yan, hindi yan ilalabas if it exists. Okay? On a strategic viewpoint, if it does exist, hindi yan talaga lalabas ngayon. Kasi masyadong maaga. Look, hypothetically, let's say there is a president, Philippine president, and unstable siya. If early in his term, let's say within 1 year, he has to cede his position and it goes to the vice president. The vice president will only serve for the term vacated by the president. Gets nyo? Pero kung after 2 years ay nag-take over yung vice president because the president is incapacitated, that vice president can run for another 6 years, giving her a 9-year term based on the GMA formula. Okay? I have no opinion on this. You'll have to stop asking me opinions for now. Okay? Okay. So, I hope everybody gets it. So it is a matter of timing. So the challenge na if it exists, then dapat lumabas na yan. But for those sorry, my dog came back from the hospital. Okay. So if it does exist and the people want to make sure that they have a fallback position, he may sugat siya, he had surgery, so he just came back. So if whoever it is, if the vice president or whatever interest group, no, not the vice president, wala siya talaga interest, and I can say that based on my personal knowledge. Now, if there is a group that wants to take over, Okay? Then they cannot allow the takeover to be by right of succession right now. Kasi based on the GMA formula, sino man ang mag-take over when the president has served less than 2 years or 3 years, then that successor can only serve for the remainder of the term, which means 3 years. Okay? But if it is 3 years, then they, kumaga, 3 years or more, then that person who succeeds can still run for another term. So yun po ang hindi na nakikita ng mga nagcha-challenge. Yung mga nagsasabi na oy, kung totoo yan, ba't di nilalabas? Kasi masama pa ang timing. Okay? So, why did I use this one? Bakit ito ang tingin natin na na possibility? Because ever since, from the start, alam natin na ang kapraningan ng administrasyon kay VP Inday is baka sila maerap. Okay? Now, bakit sila praning na baka sila maerap? Because they are aware that for so many months already, or for over a year or so, kung right of succession, 'di ba? Kung may magsasucceed sa presidency, the amount of time that that successor will serve will depend on how long this president serves. So yung kapraningan nga will kasi kung less than kung remainder lang ng term ng presidente, then 2028 yung elections will still be hit or miss. We don't know who will win. 'Di ba? So, we know na which ones will So, yung mga ganyan na comments, for example, why are you so clean? You're going to have to relate it. What is your antecedent fact? Okay? So, but take note that this is a theory. Of course, we don't know this for a fact. We don't know if but this is what we call a logical scenario given why kasi kung a person holds this and knows that he or she has a capacity to wreak havoc or to create a wide impression of incompetence due to corruption of the current administration, then, di ba, nasa interest nga nilang ilabas yan. And they know that if you say that a video exists, but you don't bring it out, people will say, it's not likely to exist. So, nagkakaroon sila ngayon ng pressure to bring it out. Pero very confident sila that the video exists and very confident sila of the timing of bringing it out. Hindi sila nape-pressure to bring it out. And on this one, then we will have to bring in another factor. And that factor is the possibility of a GMA formula. Yun, sabi ni Rafael Bautista, ERAP had the Jose Velarde envelope, BBM, the Polvoron video. Now, kung ito yung magiging context, okay, I will bring your attention once more to ERAP. Now, ERAP was undergoing an impeachment trial. Does this sound familiar to you? Diba? What happened a few months ago? May nadulas, may nagkwento sa media na pinag-uusapan na may impeachment. Okay? Who was supposed to be impeached a few ago? Because if that person is not removed, then she has the right of succession in case something happens. Diba? In case that that the current president is challenged. Okay. So, yun. Yung ang nakakatawa dito is because I'm also monitoring the negative comments. No, you're not, not, okay. So, we're monitoring the negative comments and merong mga nagpipilit na ilabas yan if it exists. But again, what I'm saying here is that there is a plausible reason why it is not coming out. There is a plausible reason why this one is very carefully kept also. Okay? Now, why don't they want an immediate succession? Kasi it means that the term of the successor will only be for the balance of the term of this president. So hanggang 2028 lang. So kung hanggang 2028 lang, mayroon pang mga malalakas dyan who can challenge this presidency in the next presidency. Kumbaga, what if and this is just a what if, this is purely hypothetical. What if the speaker runs for president in 2028? Yeah. If you're going to keep yourself safe, you want to make sure that in 2028, whoever the candidates are, you have the strong candidate. Nakakatawa na yung because I don't think they saw this coming. They didn't see these explanations. So may panabla talaga. People who keep saying walang video kasi kung sakasakaling walang video, kung sakasakaling meron, dapat lumabas na yan. And even President Duterte is saying that. Why? Because the timing is still bad. Okay? At least siya may reason siya for saying that. Wala yan. So kailangan humupa yung speculation about the video. But wala namang kasing mawawala if later when the time is right, then lumabas yan. Again, I'd like to emphasize, this is a theory. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but this is the plausible reason kung bakit hindi yan nilalabas. Of course, pwede rin namang walang video kaya hindi yan lumalabas, di ba? So, but on the other hand, why are they so scared? Ito yung issue dyan eh. If the video doesn't exist, then these people don't have anything to worry about. The ones who have everything to lose have nothing to worry about. Walang video eh. Diba? There's no video. So, it doesn't, of course, hindi siya natatabla completely, but at least pwede mong sabihin, naman, you have to present the thing. May rule kasi sa evidence na there's no, what we call the best evidence rule. So, there's no best evidence other than the video. You can talk about the video. You can say that it exists. You can have pictures of the video, like sino ba yan? Si Ignacio Buñe, di ba? I have 2 discs, the left and the right. Remember this? Ignacio Buñe was the press secretary or spokesperson of President GMA when she was accused of stealing the elections. And she was recorded. So nung lumalabas na yung nung lumabas yung audio na yan, what happened? Secretary Buñe had to address the issue, so he had to have his left and right audio recordings. Di ba? Natatawa na ako dun sa mga comments. Hindi, natatawa ako because of the comments. Walang nag-expect, so they don't know how to answer that possibility. But these things exist. At alam naman natin to. All I'm giving is a plausible theory as to why that video isn't coming out. Now, also the other reason why so many people believe that there is a video and that it exists is because the administration refuses to acknowledge it. Na at some point, pag widespread na yung belief na yan, your failure to acknowledge it has a destabilizing effect. Okay? Yes, theory din yung video. Ano ba kayo? Meron ba nakakita ng video? Wala naman sinasabi dito na it definitely exists, di ba? But there is evidence to indicate that regardless of whether it exists or not, the administration, which should be reacting by now, is not doing so. And instead, undertaking activities that indicate that there is something wrong. O bakit na nawawala yung mga ibang vloggers? Bakit na-take down? At hindi na coincidental. Maharlika, Banat Bay, Sas, and then Joey. What's the rule? 1 is an act of God, 2 is a coincidence, 3 is human intervention. And yes, that's science-based. Okay. Impeachment still needs, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. The impeachment still has to be done by the impeachment trial still needs to be done by the Senate. Pero tama yung pagkagamit mo na it's the House that impeaches because impeachment means you go to trial. Now, but what you're saying is that if the HOR impeaches, meaning matanggal si VP, then said video is released, did the succession of, no, ganito yon, di ba? We talked about a vacancy in the office of the Vice President. Kapag may presidente pero nawala for whatever reason yung Vice President, to fill up that position, hindi po Senate President at walang succession for Vice President. Ibig sabihin, the President will choose from the House or the Senate and they will affirm voting separately or jointly whoever is going to be put in there. So, remember GMA? She was Vice President, she became the President. She chose Chofisto Gingona to be her Vice President. And at the time, he was in Congress, in the House. So, kinuha niya yung, that's how it's done. So, if the Vice President, the office of the Vice President is vacant, the President chooses the replacement. So, but the GMA, so January 20, 2001, 2 years, less than 2 years. Ayan. Ang galing nga ng GMA formula kasi dapat yan, dapat yan 3 years Dapat nasa 3-year level pero nakakuha siya ng ruling from the Supreme Court that allowed her to run again. So if that is the precedent, then she can, whoever is the successor here, whoever takes over, assuming that all of these things happen, could do so only after the 2-year period has ended. The Hello Garci controversy was at its peak, correct? The AFP and the PNP were about to take action, but the question was who will succeed? Nolly was seen to be very weak, so that's how GMA survived. I knew it because I was deeply embedded then in the war room during that time. Bakit sa admin ni FPRD ay grabe ang suporta ng majority ng Pinoy, samantalang si President Marcos, ang mainstream media, ang sobrang suporta while majority of Pinoys ay galit? Maybe it's because of what people see. Parang hindi nakikita yung kind of governance dati where we were satisfied that even if hindi perfect, di ba? Even nasa-satisfy pa rin tayo na may nakikita tayong mga galawan na that was not evident in other administrations. The president did not say with absolute certainty that a video exists or not. He also made a conjecture. Kasi ang sinasabi niya, wala yan. Kasi kung totoo yan, dapat nilabas na yan. So what he's saying is that 1, he doesn't know, and 2, he's guessing as to why it's not coming out. But because how can he say with absolute certainty, hindi naman niya alam if the video even exists or not. Diba? That's amorphous. Nobody knows yet. Or at least the general public. Only those who have copies or a copy of that video, if it exists. So, no, you cannot make that conclusion, binasag na narrative. Did you listen to his words? This guy is a lawyer, so he had to be very careful with what he was saying. So, no, he did not say that doesn't exist. Alam kong hindi walang ganyan. He said, kasi kung may ganyan, dapat nilabas na. Which is why nagla-live tayo ngayon. Nagpresenta tayo ng teorya kung bakit hindi yan lumalabas aside from the fact that aside from the theory that it does not exist. Okay, so ang theory ni FPRD is it doesn't exist kasi kung sakali dapat lumabas na yan. Ang theory natin is whether or not it exists, hindi yan pwedeng ilabas kasi wala sa timing. Wala sa timing because kung inahabol natin ang possible succession or we need to protect the successor, it has to be done at a time when that successor, if having proven that the current occupant of the position is incapable of continuing in office, then the GMA formula can kick in. Okay? So what you have isn't one sure answer and one theory. What you have are simply two theories. I think it's time for us also to remind people of the constitutional of how to conduct amendments, how to amend the Constitution, di ba? Ito sabi ni user 1174655094983. I-deny lang din ni BBM yan kung sasagutin niya talaga. Yes, but why doesn't he do it? It's the easiest thing in the world to deny, di ba? So that's ridiculous. He can even say, it's so ridiculous, it does not merit an answer. Why doesn't he do it? Okay, so ang nangyayari, ang nakikita natin, yung kanilang pushback is simply this. Walang video. Hindi talaga, I insist, walang video. Sure, believe whatever you want. Di naman kami nagko-complain. Kahit naman kami sinasabi namin, we don't know if it exists. We don't know if it doesn't exist either. Di ba? So, parang ano yan Schrodinger's cat. At the moment, it both exists and does not exist until it shows up.